And we say good morning to you. We're broadcasting live on the road. We are today. We're Chick-fil-A in Johnson City. Connie says it's National Hat Day. And everybody comes in with a hat, gets a free Key Lime Sunjoy. Boom. How about that? I'm liking it. Andrew Smith, our first guest, has a Atlanta Braves hat on. He gets a free Sunjoy because he's got a hat on. I guess I get one because I got a hat on. But if you come in today between now and closing here at People Street in Johnson City for National Hat Day, you get a free Sunjoy, Key Lime Sunjoy. Got to come inside? Yeah, got to come inside so we can see your hat. Seems pretty simple to me. Mr. Smith is donning an Atlanta Braves hat, so he gets himself a free Key Lime Sunjoy if he wants. Tom's going to get one because I got an old cowboy hat on. So, anyway, we're here. We were in panic mode for a minute or two because I thought the cords from last night's game against Crockett, I thought, oh, gosh, the cords I need to set this thing up is sitting down there in the bleachers at Crockett, but it was not. I found them. So, thanks to Jackson Judah. Anyway, sorry we're getting on late, but that's okay. We're here. We can stay as long as we want. We got lots to talk about. Andrew's here. He covered a game last night. It was a 22-4 run by Crockett. Cyclones, again, lose a toughie on the road to Crockett, but would tell me, again, the rematch coming up next month in Elizabeth will be a dandy. And as I said last night on the broadcast, and it bears worth repeating, there's probably a pretty good chance they will see each other in the tournament. There's only 5 teams in the tournament. You got to figure there's odds are pretty good you're going to see Crockett again in the tournament coming up, next month, end of next month at Viking Hall in Bristol. So, anyway, we're here, ready to go, show number 2217. We always dedicate our show to the man that hung on the cross. Today, man, what a great verse today. Goodness, they're all great. I'm not diminishing or minimizing any of the verses. Coming up, Andrew's here, top of the hour. Cody Cannell, the Crockett coach, going to come by today and talk, not only about Crockett basketball, but certainly high school basketball and college hoops. He's a college junkie, and so college basketball junkie, I should say. And so, let's see. Let me get you the verse today, and here it is. I love it, love it, love it. It goes like this. So, Isaiah 41:13. You think about this. You're going through something tough. Everybody's dealing with something. That's what the late Charles Stanley said. He's right. We're all dealing with something. Isaiah 41:13 says, For I am the Lord your God, who takes hold of your right hand and says to you, do not fear, for I will help you. How about that? I love the hat. Love it. It's hat day. Little girl in here with a cute little hat. For I am the Lord your God, who takes hold of your right hand and says to you, do not fear, for I will help you. What a great verse. Any day to hear that one. Isaiah 41:13 is the verse of the day. So, it's National Hat Day. Everybody comes inside here at Chick-fil-A on People Street with a hat on, gets himself a free Key Lime Sunjoy. And it's worth the trip coming in because those rascals are good. The frosted Key Lime with diet lemonade, it's like a religious experience, man. It'll set you free. All right, quick break. Here we go. We are ready to roll. He's here. Right after this, we got to do the national anthem. Let's do that. And who gets to play today? Who will we call to sing it today? We did Jennifer Nettles yesterday. How about Martina McBride and then Andrew Smith next on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Show number 2217 on this 15th day of January.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets like a the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, o'er the land of the free, yeah, and the home of the brave.
Back on the Tom Dooley Sports Show. How about that? Martina McBride with the national anthem. Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Doing good. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. Saw him last night. I like this feller. He's a dandy. He's a, as they say in the fishing world, we ain't throwing him back. He's a keeper. He's not getting out of the boat, not out of the Tom Dooley Sports Show boat, because he does a great job. So let's run down the high school games last night. We'll let him weigh in on the game. He was there down there with me last night. Boys games, Daniel Boone beats East by 5. Science Hill 17-point blowout over Morristown West. Tennessee High throttles Crockett by 9. Greenville defeats Cherokee 78-49. University High a 1-point squeaker over Volunteer. South Green 11-point win over West Green, and Hancock County and North Green got postponed last night, as did Hampton and Happy Valley. Naked Washburn's been rescheduled till February, and that's what we had last night. That's on the boys' side. Now we'll go to the girls' side, the ladies' side. Of course, we know the score last night of our game. Crockett, who can play, they can do it. The girls down yonder can do it. Crockett beat Elizabethton by 40. Daniel Boone's ladies by a 29-point win over East. Morristown West beat Science Hill's ladies by 15. Unicoi County over Tennessee High by 4. Greenville's ladies all over Cherokee 54-27. Volunteer beats University High's girls by 26. Yep. West Green beat South Green by 3, and of course we told you Hampton Happy Valley got postponed. So, Laura, you be. All right, so let's start. High school game last night. Andrew Barnett goes off for 28 points, a career night for Andrew Barnett. But Crockett caught fire late in the game, outscored him in the overtime and in the down the stretch in the fourth. I think we said 22-4. So
Yep.
Crockett caught fire when they were supposed to. One was a tough loss for Elizabethton, but it's a long season.
Absolutely.
So, and Cody Connell, who'll be here in a few minutes, will say it's one game. And we got to play him again, maybe play him another time. Who knows in the tournament, but it was a great ball game, great atmosphere. And so what was your take on the game, sir?
Yeah, no, excuse me. Yeah, I mean, it was a fantastic high school basketball game. Ones you love to be at, be around. I thought solid crowd there at Crockett as well. Definitely helped elevate things. They understood the importance of that one, battle for first early in the conference season. But, yeah, I mean, the Andrew Barnett really had himself a third quarter. I think 19 of his 28 came there in the third. So I turned over to my good friend Steve Wiltmuth, who was covering the game as well, and I said, I feel like I'm watching Dalton Connect right now. That was the kind of vibes I was getting from Andrew Barnett, just taking over that third quarter.
He was on, no question.
You know, it was kind of methodical for Crockett through much of the fourth, kind of slowly reeled their way back in. But I thought Stephen Hensley played a big game for them. Had that game-tying 3 in the fourth, game-saving block there off Hudson Pate, I believe, went up with that layup there at the buzzer. But so he played big down the stretch for the Pioneers. But they play again here in February down in Elizabethton. I could very easily see the game going the other way come that matchup, and who knows what we could see tournament time.
For all the points Stephen Henley scored, I think I had him with 21 last night,
Yep.
but the biggest play I thought was a block with Hudson Pate. I thought that was the difference, and that was because Pate was there to make the shot to win the game,
Yep.
and he came out of nowhere to block it from behind. And so, again, Crockett wins by 11. Great ball game last night. So, you know, again, you reload and come back and do it all over again. You know, you got more games coming up this week. This is our odd week for Elizabethton, so we won't play Friday night. On the 5-team league, it's our night off, and so we are doing the doubleheader for T.A. Duggar, the 8th grade night, honoring the 8th grade girls and boys and the cheerleaders, and also streaming the games T.A. Duggar against Hunter. So we've got that for you on Friday night. Our next Cyclone broadcast will be Tuesday of next week at Tennessee High. So we're in the middle of the obvious. It's conference race time at the OK Ground. So there you go. That's what's happening at high school hoops. The Atlanta Braves did anything the last couple of days?
Nope, still not much of anything. The biggest thing they announced was that there'll be more spring training games available to be watched here coming up in March, but that's about it.
Yep. So now I've got a story. As soon as I find it here, I said this when the East Tennessee State job came open. A couple people thought I was nuts, but I'm not. Well, I may be nuts, but I'm not. I was right on this one. And as soon as I get to it here, it's in regards to the Dallas Cowboys. And here it is right here. Okay, I knew I had it. So I said when East Tennessee State lost their coach, Trey Lamb went to Tulsa, and they're looking for a coach. I said, why not Jason Witten? Guy can coach, could put together a coaching staff real quick with all the folks. All you have to do is go back and watch his Witten Huddle camps. He brought all these who's in to be the volunteer coaches for the Jason Witten camp. So I said back then, I would talk to him. I would explore an opportunity to talk to Jason Witten. People thought, you're crazy. So they went and hired the young man. Helped me, the new coach.
Will Healy.
Thank you, Will Healy, the new coach at East Tennessee State. Hello, Debbie Prophet. Hello, Evelyn Story. So here's the story today coming out of Dallas. Dallas Cowboys and Coach Mike McCarthy parting ways on Monday. One of the big reasons two sides couldn't come together on a new deal was Jones had a new deal for McCarthy to stay in Dallas. That new deal was, and here it is, he wanted to bring in Jason Witten to groom him as the new head coaching job. Let McCarthy be there a year or two longer. Let Witten get some experience under his belt and make him the coach of the Cowboys. Right here it is on the story. Jones had spoken with future Cowboys Hall of Fame tight end Jason Witten recently. An 11-time Pro Bowler was part of a plan Jones had for McCarthy's second Cowboys coaching contract. The report set up was Witten to be the heir apparent of sorts to McCarthy, who was 61 years old. That's when McCarthy reportedly walked away from conversation with Jones to continue to coach the Cowboys. So, I'm not crazy. Jason Witten, who won back-to-back state titles with Liberty Christian, private school in Texas, 2 years ago and this year. So, he was named the coach of the year by the Whataburger, which is a hamburger chain in Texas, the Whataburger coach of the year by the Dallas Cowboys. So, no previous experience coaching, NFL or collegiate, but he walked into a dumpster fire out there in Texas where his kid played, and it's taken him to 2 state championships back-to-back. So that got the attention of Jerry Jones, who said, maybe we can get this guy to come, get him groomed to be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. They've gone away from that, or at least for the time being. Now the buzz is we're going to bring in Deion Sanders, or they're going to bring in Deion Sanders with the Cowboys, with the stipulation his kid's got to come with him so he can play for the Cowboys or any NFL team he goes to. So that's kind of the background of the question. What's your take on all this? It's become a media circus in Dallas, obviously, with the departure of McCarthy. Jones very much hands-on. What's your take on all this, Mr. Smith?
Well, you mentioned media circus. Feels like it's hard to go a day or a week or a month or a year without there being some kind of media circus going on with the Dallas Cowboys. But in regards to this coaching search, Deion Sanders intrigues me. I had my doubts about him at Colorado. Obviously, he had them. They had a 9-win season this year after going 4-8 the year before. So obviously, he can help turn some things around. The stipulation with Shore, his son, coming with him, that kind of gives away the leverage that Dallas might have to try and come up in the draft, because a lot of current projections have Shador Sanders, number 1 pick to the Titans, number 2 pick to the Browns, somewhere in that top 5, and I think the Cowboys are picking 12th in this year's draft. So, if you're, say, the Tennessee Titans, if you see that Deion Sanders ends up landing this job with the Dallas Cowboys, you now have all the leverage in the world to have Dallas mortgage their future just so Deion can continue coaching Shador.
That's it.
So it's definitely a cat and mouse kind of game between NFL front offices. Obviously, for the Titans, they first have to worry about getting a general manager before they can worry about trading the number 1 pick to Deion Sanders and the Cowboys should that happen. But it's something to keep an eye on for sure. I think when there's smoke, there's a little bit of fire here.
Big mistake, I think. I'm going to give you the scenarios. What you think? We're live here at Chick-fil-A in Johnson City, People Street. It's National Hat Day. If you come in with a hat, you get a free key lime Sunjoy because it's National Hat Day. I think that's pretty cool. So I have daughters. I got named the sports editor of the Johnson City Press, which you're gainfully employed. All of a sudden, I bring in my daughter, who is the assistant sports editor. No experience. Boom, going to make her the assistant sports editor. And upon time, because you know what you're doing, and you realize that she doesn't know what she's doing. And she's there because Daddy got her there, and Daddy put her in that position. And all of a sudden, Andrew says, this ain't cool. I should be the one. I got more experience than her. Why is she there? Because she's my daughter. I'm going to make sure she's there. Addie's blood is thicker than water. So all of a sudden, in a hypothetical situation, I bring my daughter in with me to be the assistant sports editor of the paper. And so what will happen in the press room, it's either you're going to be on page with it or going to go, nah, shouldn't have any reason to be in that position. It will create division, promise you.
Oh, 100% will be, especially considering the fact that if we take this to the Cowboys example here, the Dallas Cowboys just paid Dak Prescott somewhere in the ballpark of $60 million a year to be their quarterback.
Yep.
So if you're Dak, now one would think that if there were to be a trade, should that happen, Dak Prescott's probably got to be involved to avoid a little bit of that. But if you're someone else in that quarterback room, let's say Cooper Rush, the backup quarterback who had to play a decent bit for Dallas this year, or even just somebody on that offensive side of the ball, you certainly look at things skeptically. Now, doesn't mean that Shedeur and Deion can't earn that trust, but they have to prove it.
Yep.
So, in your example, your daughter would have to earn the trust of us in the newsroom.
Yep.
In order to be in that position.
And
so I'm not saying it can't ever work, but there has to be a lot that has to go right to make it work.
And it wouldn't take long for you doing this as a profession. You do it well, even at your young age. That you look around and go, you guys get down the hall and go, she ain't got a clue what she's doing. But the old man's got her in there. She ain't going anywhere. Such is the case with Deion. Can he coach? Obviously, he can coach Colorado. Can he coach pro football? I don't know. College and pro, two different animals. That's Nick Saban. You can be successful on one level and not the other, but I don't know how many have ever been successful in both. Harbaugh may break that mold, what he's doing at the Chargers, although he got beaten or out, but he did turn that franchise around his first year. Or certainly got to head in the right direction. So can Deion coach in the National Football League? Remains to be seen. Can he coach in college? Absolutely. He's doing it in Colorado. The baggage, I guess, or the attachment, maybe not baggage, but the attachment is, I'm going wherever I'm going, my kids got to go with me. And I get that from a daddy standpoint. Totally understand that. But from a football franchise, and your goal is to win a world championship, put a Super Bowl ring on, if the experiment is out there and it doesn't work, and it won't take long for everybody to figure out this guy ain't got it. Or he, and I could be totally wrong. He could be another Jaden Daniels. He could set the woods on fire. We don't know. But to have that attachment, stigma, whatever the adjective you want to use, is I'm coming, but my kids are going to come too. I think it instantly would create a situation in the locker room, the clubhouse, not clubhouse, in the locker room. Some will be for it, some will be against it. Look at the Lakers. The Bronny James experiment earlier this year didn't work. He brought his kid in. He tried to get him to play. He just ain't got it, at least at that point. He may develop into a player. They got him down, I think, down to the G League, where he's at now. So that experiment didn't work. And some of the guys coming out of training camp said, yeah, okay, we love LeBron. Yeah. They didn't come right out and talk against him. But they said enough to make a person think, okay, they ain't 100% for it. So Deion Sanders may be going to the Cowboys wherever he goes, because he first said he's not interested at all to go to the NFL. Now he says, it's very intriguing, and it would be, to get a phone call from Jerry Jones or anybody else. The Raiders were hot on him for a while, and they backed off. They're going after Johnson, the offensive coordinator of the Vikings. They're hot to try to get him. Vrabel signed with the Patriots, so the Bears and Saints have openings. McCarthy's going to go talk to them. Then the buzz came up. Mike Tomlin, would you be interested in going to, leaving Pittsburgh in a trade to go be the head coach of the Cowboys, he said, and I quote, what was his comment? He said, "Save your time, save your breath. I ain't interested. I'm not going anywhere." So Tomlin is not leaving Pittsburgh. At least not on his. They may. Here it is. They may say, "Why don't you go ahead and move on?" He says, when asked about the possibility of trading for Tomlin, the Steelers, and getting some draft picks to move him on as a coach to another team, he says, quote, "I have no message. Save your time." By the way, he has a no-trade clause in his contract. So he made it clear yesterday in his press conference, season ending, he has no plan to step down anytime soon. So Tomlin is not for the offing, unless they throw a lot of money after him. I guess I could change it. But anyway, hello, Josh Allen. What if that's the Josh Allen? The Buffalo Bills Josh Allen. Never know.
Never know.
Never know. Hello, Loretta Sanders down in Union, South Carolina. So anyway, that's your opening right now of the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones has pretty much said, this is my team. I'm going to call the shot. Right, wrong, or indifferent. I used to think, he needs to get out of the way. But then I think, okay, somebody comes on the Tom Miller Sports Show. I'm going to have input on who's going to do this show, what's going to be on the show, because after all, I'm signing the checks. And Jerry Jones is signing the checks, so he should have input. Now, should he micromanage? Probably not. But he does have a right to have input because he is the guy writing the checks for the Cowboys. So Jerry Jones, again, told McCarthy, if you come around the second time, we'll keep you. But I want to bring Jason Witten in to get him, groom him to be a head coaching job. So the bottom line on that is Jason Witten's in the plans of Jerry Jones somewhere down the line for the Dallas Cowboys. So that's not going to go away, even if it doesn't materialize as a head coach this time around. Obviously, it's up in his noggin. He's going to do something to get Jason Witten in the Cowboys front office or, like I said, head coaching. So stay tuned to that. We're here live at Chick-fil-A in Johnson City talking to our buddy Andrew Smith. So I got to know the spring training starts for all the teams early when Dodgers will be checking in on February the 11th. It'll be the earliest they'll go in. So what is today? Today's the 15th. So we're inside of a month. Baseball starts spring training. So the Braves, we talked at the outset of the visit here today. They've not done much. You still haven't?
No, still haven't done much of anything. I've said it before, there's not necessarily a ton you can do, given that a lot of your core pieces are locked into longer-term deals still. So you can't do that much. But given the innings that you've lost this offseason from the bullpen and the starting rotation, wouldn't mind to see something happen on that front between now and opening day.
Jack Flaherty. They keep talking about getting Jack Flaherty. Tony Shipley says does not need to micromanage. Big Jason on board, go Cowboys. I agree. I said that. Had a couple of guys, in fact, they were standing here when I said it a couple of weeks ago when Trey Lamb left ETSU. I said I'd go get Jason Witten, give him a head coaching job on the collegiate level. The guys won back-to-back state championships. Well, it's Christian schools. Okay, trophy's a trophy, as far as I'm concerned. State championship. When I flash his ringer, I don't flash it, but when people say, "Where'd you get that ring?" I said, Elizabeth and Cyclones. They think it's a Super Bowl ring, but it's not. Elizabeth and Cyclones state championship. 4A football team. State ring's a state ring. If you can take a dumpster fire program, which it was, and turn it and win back-to-back state championships, that gets people's attention. And so whether it's Christian or public school, rings are rings, and so Jerry Jones very much understands the talent of which this man can coach, thanks to his grandfather, the late Dave Ryder. So anyway, Jason Witten is very much in the future plans of the Cowboys in one way, shape, or form. And if you missed it, what we're talking about is that he offered McCarthy to stay and have Jason come along as an heir to the throne. So hello, Tony Shipley said his blood is Cowboys blue anyway. You're right. Hello, Sam Barnett. How you doing? His son exploded for 28 last night. But you can ask any of those kids on that team from Elizabeth, and particularly Andrew, it's like, okay, I had 28, but we lost. So, and that's how they looked at it. And so they'll have a chance to redeem themselves next month. And when Crockett comes, Cody Cannell joined us in a few minutes, as a matter of fact. It's interesting. I booked him for the show before the game last night, not knowing we're being an overtime game. And we're going to talk high school hoops and college hoops. So, by the way, Tennessee plays tonight. We'll run down the top 25. The Volunteers have Georgia tonight at the Food City Center in Knoxville. So, Tennessee with 2 games this week. Tonight, Georgia at home, and Saturday they'll go to Vanderbilt. So, the RUB. College Football National Championship. I'm hitting you with a lot of different topics because I like him. Now, again, it's National Hat Day. And so if you come here, if you come into this Chick-fil-A today with a ball cap on or any kind of a hat, you get a free key lime Sunjoy just for wearing a hat. But you got to come inside so we can see it. He's got his Braves hat on. If you could sit down with any Braves right and just have lunch with any Brave, past or present, who would you sit down and go, man, I want to sit down at Chick-fil-A and have lunch with this Atlanta Brave. You pick who?
Probably Hank Aaron. I
Yeah.
would say Hank, just to learn not just about different experiences he had on the field and whatnot, but just the manner in which that gentleman carried himself.
Exactly.
In such a rather still ugly time at multiple parts in the American South.
Yep.
To learn how he carried himself in that such truly gracious manner.
True
Still-
gentleman. Yep.
Yeah, so I would definitely say Hank Aaron.
I've been sitting right beside you. I would have loved to sit down. Soft-spoken, very much a gentleman, and as you said, the way he handled the 60s in the South, and how he did it with dignity and grace, I'd love to sit down across from Hank Aaron and say, you want one of my waffle fries? Can I dip my waffle fry in your honey mustard? Or Dale Murphy. I'd like to sit down with Dale Murphy, too.
I've met Dale in passing once.
Yeah.
It was kind of an interesting story. He's got a restaurant there just outside the new ballpark there in Atlanta. And my father and I were down one weekend to catch a couple games, and we made a stop at his restaurant. And he had an event he was going to. As he was leaving his restaurant to go to the event, we were coming in. So Murph, another guy that's just super gracious with his time, from all accounts that I have seen. So,
Good guy.
very good guy.
Just curious, he's a big Braves guy. Who would you meet? And there you go. You would have lunch with Hank Aaron, late Hank Aaron, or Dale Murphy. Hello, Cody Taylor. How you doing? So back to national championship. The Ohio State Buckeyes and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish on Monday night for the College Football National Championship. You say who and why?
I'm going to go with Ohio State. To me, ever since I saw them in Columbus that opening round, I said, if this team keeps playing like they did against Tennessee, they're going to win a national championship.
Absolutely.
And so far, they did that against Tennessee. They did it against Oregon. Defense stepped up big there against Texas. So for me, it's Ohio State. It's just so hard to cover all of their weapons offensively. Between Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, just they have a ton of weapons on offense, and I'll give Notre Dame credit. They've got a good defense. They probably have a good a shot as anyone to slow them down. But for me, I still lean Ohio State.
Ohio State's beaten 3 quality programs. And Notre Dame would have the same argument, but I don't think to the magnitude of the quality teams that you beat Tennessee, Oregon made them look like a middle school team, and then turn around and dispose of Texas down in Texas territory. That was a home game for the Longhorns, and you did it convincingly. I think all 3 games. I mean that speaks volumes to me, and so Notre Dame would argue that point. Well, see, they beat so much, but certainly Penn State and Georgia, yes, but still. Ohio State hammered Tennessee, and we know that. So it's in everybody's crawl, but it's true. 42-17, that's a hammer. And then you have thrashing the Oregon, who never got off the bus, and beat Texas like they did down there in their turf, in their backyard, if you will. I got Ohio State. Notre Dame's an excellent football team. One of the big guys on the front line got hurt. He's not going to be able to play. His last name is Knapp. I don't have that in front of me, but one of the big hogs up front, high ankle sprain, won't be able to go on Monday night. So we'll see. We'll be back here next Wednesday, and we'll be able to talk all about it and see what's going on. So we do appreciate you, sir, very much.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Yep. And you do a great job covering sports for the Johnson City Press. You're the ripe old age of what?
22, be 23 next month.
22 years old. Sports writer doing a great job. I got boots older than this kid. But he does a wonderful job, and I appreciate your friendship.
Yes, sir.
Get you some lunch. You get a free key lime because you got a hat on. So there you go.
Sounds like a plan.
Absolutely. So we'll take a break. We'll be right back after this. We've got him here, Cody Cannell, head basketball coach of the Crockett Pioneers, who had that big win last night over the Cyclones. And he and I are we do this every year. We get basketball season. We just come in and talk hoops. So as I said earlier, never knew when I booked him last night before the game, won't you come be on the show tomorrow? I said, man, I'd love to. Never knew we'd be in a dogfight last night, an overtime thriller, won by his basketball team over our Cyclones. Quick break. We'll be right back. We'll talk sports with Cody. Is Auburn the number one team in the land? We'll see what he thinks next on the Tom Douglas Sports. Senator Craig, you're one of our great sponsors. Christmas Club savings account for next year. Tell me about it.
Yes, let's talk about it because now you're going to have 12 months to do this. What better time than right now to open your Christmas Club savings? There's no cost on this. This is just something that we can help you transfer automatic funds, either weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, out of your check. So that way you won't even have to worry about it. And each time that you have that transferred, either you can do it yourself or deposit into this account, or we can have automatic draft set up. That's just convenient for you. And like I said, it's just another sub account to your savings and checking at Northeast Community Credit Union. So if you have any questions, visit bemycu.org or come in and see us at one of our convenient locations or call 423-547-1200.
And you cut checks when? Next year? October, November? So when you get your checks?
Yes.
Save it up all year?
Yeah, so direct deposit could be your monthly paycheck.
Okay.
And so you can allocate a percentage of that paycheck into the Christmas Club. And that way, when you get to October, November, it's going to be built up. And so it's a great feature, and people love it.
The Christmas Club savings account for Christmas 2024?
Yes.
From Northeast Community Credit Union, one of our great sponsors of the Tom Douglas Sports Show and Cyclone Sports.
As soon as Mr. Steve walks in, it's like a ray of sunshine has entered our restaurant.
Sure is nice to hear.
For his 100th birthday, we wanted to do it as big as possible.
That was someday, I'll tell you.
Customers came in, brought gifts and cards.
When I walked in and they all clapped, that was quite a surprise to me.
It's a really warm feeling in your heart to know that your father's got other people looking out for him.
We decided to give him free Chick-fil-A for life.
One of my main reasons I want to live forever.
I think you got it in you.
Back on the Tom Douglas Sports Show, look who stopped by. Like I said, before we got in here, how did I know? I said, man, why don't you come in on the show tomorrow? Let's talk college hoops and high school hoops. Man, I'd love to. And then we get into an old-fashioned barn burner last night. What a game! Man. And so, to your kids' credit, and I don't know what you told them that one time out, but they flipped the switch. I think we 22-4 run for you guys down the stretch, and beat the Cyclones, offsetting a phenomenal night by our kid Andrew Barnett at 28 points, but Stephen Hensley came to play.
Oh yeah, no, we got a great group of guys, man. It was one of those during that timeout. I thought we did a great job as a coaching staff and as the players, as a team and a program of just staying calm. And I looked at them and said, guys, like we set goals early in the season of wanting to win a conference championship. I said, you lose tonight, it makes it really, really tough. And I said, it's up to you. I said, the ball's in your court. I said, go play. And I thought our guys, they made some big plays, got some big stops, missed a lot of free throws at the end that we normally don't miss. But I thought our guys battled and made the plays when they needed to.
Cash was there, but he wasn't there. I mean, he contributed, but not like I thought he could or normally does point-wise, but he did a lot of good things in the middle for you. We neutralized him to a point, but clearly Googe caught fire. And as I said, Hensley, for all the points he scored, I thought the block on Hudson Page there at the end on that layup, that he was open. If he makes the shot, game's over. They make it. I think it would have broke the tie and been over. Is that right?
Oh, yeah, it would have been a ball game.
Yeah, and Hensley blocked it from behind, so I thought that defensive play for him. So, but as I said last night, I'm saying it again. We play you again in February, and with a 5-team format, there's probably a pretty good shot we'll see you in the district tournament too. We only got 5 teams.
Oh, yeah.
It's a pretty good shot we'll see you again. But great atmosphere last night. Again, everybody got their money's worth. They gave it 60-60 tie at the end of regulation, and you guys roared out to 11-4 to win it by 11. So congratulations to you. And I had no clue. And if you listen to this broadcast, here's how it rolls. I've been at this a long time. So if Stephen Hensley, I do the Cyclone games, but if Stephen Hensley has a good game, we got to give Stephen Hensley props. Or in the girls' game, it was Bella who had a big game. Bella Ferguson, all-time assist leader in the history of Tennessee high school basketball. So, Cyclones, and Andrew Barnett had a career night, 28 points. You got to give him props too. So our players of the game were Andrew Barnett and Zach Wallem. We're off this Friday night because it's the odd week off for the Cyclones, so we're streaming the 8th grade night. We've got T.A. Duggar going on to the 8th grade girls, 8th grade boys, and the 8th grade cheerleaders. They're going to play at John Treadway. We're playing Hunter. Then our next game, here it is, it's conference, it's hammer time. Our next one's Tuesday at Viking Hall against Tennessee High. Who do you guys have Friday? Unicoi?
We're off Friday.
You're off Friday too?
We play Saturday at Gate City.
Okay, so you're the odd duck out too. Hello to Terry and Peggy Morrell and Sandra Hartzell. Thank you guys for watching. And we had a lot of Crockett fans last night watching, which I appreciate. So, look, Stephen Hensley told me last night, you're getting ready to get beat. And I said, that's fine. That's what I told you. We get up today, sun comes up. It's a long season. It is what it is. It's a basketball game. It was a great game. Loved it. Great atmosphere. Thanks to Josh Kite. He put us up there on the top of where I had a better shot with the camera angle, and I want to say thanks to him. He did whatever it took to help us out with the broadcast. Sometimes you go into these other gyms, you're the Russians, and it's like, well, you're over there, and we don't, But Josh Kite said whatever it takes, and I appreciate that. He's a class act. So, who's the best? What you guys? You were now what? 18-3. Is that right?
13-4.
13, okay, I got you mixed up with the girls. So you're 13-4. A lot of non-conference games. Who, in your opinion, has been the best team you've played so far across the board?
Around here?
Well, just in general.
We played a really tough team in Daytona for Christmas tournament. Played a really good team down there. Around here, we've had a lot of dogfights. I mean, Gate City was good. You guys were great. Unicoi's tough. South Green's really big. I mean, they got 3 guys, 6'6", 6'7". I mean, they're big. Science Hill's great. DB's great. I mean, there's no Westridge is great. So we've got a tough schedule. I mean, Boone. I mean, it's a dogfight no matter what. I mean, it's a rivalry game, and we've played them twice already. So I mean, we really stacked this schedule this year because I thought our guys needed it. We came off a great season last year, and I didn't want them to be settled and just win a lot of easy games. I want them to be, because conference play is, well, as you know, it's a dogfight. No matter every night, there's not an easy team.
So over the years, been at this a while, there's been ebbs and flows. Some years the talent around here and the quality of competition is really good. Sometimes it's mediocre, and sometimes it's taking a swoon. So I think you just answered my question. All these teams you rattled off. So you feel like the level of competition is up around here this year?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, at every level. I mean, you look at single A, you got North Green, you got UH. At double A, you got Hampton, South Green. That's really good. Triple A, you got all of us. 4A, I mean, Science Hill's really good this year. DB is the normal DB, and Westridge is your typical John Dyer teams, and Boone is they're scrappy, can shoot it, and can play, and they're going to be in all ball games.
Now, next year's reclassification, we're talking to Coach Cody Cannell from Crockett. Next year, reclassification, I think they told me Boone comes down with us.
Yep.
And you guys stay? You stay where you are?
Yep.
Okay.
Unicoi goes down to 2A.
2A, and Boone comes down to us.
Boone comes down to us.
Does anybody come up to you all?
Nobody goes up.
So you have a 4-team conference?
No, they have a 3-team conference. What do you mean?
For basketball, you'd have DB, Science Hill, you guys.
No, we're in yours.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking about Boone. Boone, you would have, once Boone's leaving, you would have Science Hill, Dobbins Minute, Westridge. That's it. 3 teams in that league next year, the Big 3 or whatever. That is nuts.
Yeah.
But it's based on enrollment. There's nothing you can do about it. So Crockett stays with us. See, I'm thinking football, too. Football
Football's
stays up.
different.
Yeah, it stays up with DB and Science Hill. Yeah.
But even like in our conference, it'll be Boone, us, you guys, Sullivan East, Tennessee High.
Mm-hmm.
And then Hampton goes down to single A.
Mm-hmm. So there are changes after this school year. Now, the TSSAA is talking transfer portal rule. What for those out there who have no clue, give us the layman's definition of what they're planning on doing, and do you agree with it?
I think it's a one-time free move, pretty much. It's pretty much like college.
Yeah.
I don't like it personally, just because it takes away from the coaching. You know, you invest in these kids, you spend all this time away from your family with these guys every day, and then if one thing goes wrong and mom and dad don't like it, or
Girlfriend, something.
girlfriend moves
Oh, yeah.
to another school, or someone else has got something supposedly better to offer, they can just leave you like that. And I don't like that. I mean, I think that's what makes it fun about high school basketball, is I get to invest in these guys, and I got 4 years with them. You know, and and that's what I love about our program, is we've got guys that are bought in, and it's just great kids.
So will you be able to transfer at any time, or like just your sophomore year, or just in between? If I get in a snit with you, or I'm in Elizabeth and I don't like Elizabeth anymore, and I just come to Crockett, can I do it any time, or you got to do it
I don't know exactly
there's a
on that.
window.
I heard there's multiple different. The one I thought I heard was like freshman, sophomore year. I could be wrong. I mean, it could be. I mean, if you're gonna do it freshman, sophomore, why not junior, senior? You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna do it, what does it matter? So.
And I'm not privy to what's going on down at the TWSAA, but usually when there's talk, where there's smoke, there's fire. So usually, you know, we heard 2 years ago we're going to go to a 12-team football playoff. They did. We're going to go to NIL. They did. So when you hear it talking, when we hear about it out in the public, generally it's been behind the scenes, behind closed doors, there's been talk. So I'm going to guess that the TWSAA is going to let this go as far as approving it. I think they meet in April, don't they?
Yes, I think it is.
Yeah.
And I mean, it can help you and it can hurt you.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, as a coach, you don't ever complain when someone moves in if they're really, really good. But my thing back is there's a reason they're not where they are. You know, majority of the time, it's not the coach's fault. You know, there's a reason they're not there. They either can't play for you, they're not good kids,
Can't get along with you.
can't get along. You know,
Yeah.
like they're not happy with how many points they're scoring. There's a reason.
Kind of like people at the job place.
Yeah.
Why is he hopping from, or her hopping from job to job to job?
Yeah.
Well, there's a reason. When you go back and do a little background check, say, there's an attitude or a morale, or there's a reason why they can't click on a job site, just like at a school. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what's going on, the reclassification coming up next year. So you look at, I'm going to hit you with some other topics too. So football national championship. Ohio's, by the way, he's got a beard, obviously.
You like it?
I do like it. I told you last night I like it.
Okay.
So
Just trying something different. The
yeah.
wife likes it, so
That's all that
That's all
matters.
that matters. You know, it's
Trust
all-
me.
Yeah. Everybody makes fun of me. Hey, if she likes it, you go with it.
When Mama's happy, everybody's happy. I can promise you. So if she likes it, let it rip. Now, if you don't know who this young man is, his little brother was the coolest guy, long-haired. If I could ever get beside him, I want to get a picture too. He's still got his long hair, doesn't he?
Yeah, a little bit. He cut a little bit, but it's still
Still there?
It's still there.
Kirby Connell, of course, who pitched for the Tennessee Volunteers, and he became the media darling of the national media. They loved him because he had the long hair. He had, did he have a beard?
A little stash.
Had
Long curly
stash. That's
stash.
right. Had the Raleigh Fingers handlebar mustache. So anyway, that's his little brother. So I don't know whether you're trying to catch up with him. You gonna let your hair grow out too?
No, I'm not. I'm not about that. So I'm not trying to compete on that level. So
He's just making Mrs. Cannell happy. She
yes.
likes the beard.
And
So
if she likes it, we'll keep it.
that's it.
When she tells me to shave it, I'll shave it.
You'll shave it. There you go. He has learned. So, national championship college football, Ohio State, Notre Dame. You're a sports guy. I know you're the basketball coach, but football, who you like and why?
I'm a Florida State fan. Not good this year. Not good at all. So I'm probably pulling for the underdog. Pull for Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Great coach, great guy. I love listening to him talk, just how he carries himself. He doesn't get caught up in the moment. He's over there having a blast with his team. He's a younger coach, and I enjoy that. I mean, I think he's a great guy. So I'm kind of pulling for Notre Dame.
Is Ryan Day still coaching for his job? Even if they got to the national championship, I'm still reading in Columbus, some people saying, we can't get that Michigan thing out of our system, but I'm thinking, all right, you people are crazy. He's playing for a national championship. At the worst, he'll be national runner-up. You still think Ryan Day may be in trouble?
No, I thought that was crazy to begin with.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at his overall record, even before the playoffs started, it was, like, dumb. Like, there is nobody else that has that record. Like, why would – it's just like you look back at Georgia back in the day when, I mean, Mark Richt was there, like, he's still winning 9 to 10 ball games a year.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. So I think he's doing a great job. I think it'd be crazy if they fired him over something silly like that. And if he did, he can go somewhere and be successful wherever he went.
Bjork, the athletic director for Ohio State, said he's our guy. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So if they did, let's just play this for a second. Who do you go? I mean,
Who you gonna get that has
who
a
you
better
gonna get that's
record?
going to have the pedigree or that Ryan Day has?
Nobody.
I mean, yes,
who would
he's-
want that job, knowing that you're gonna get fired if you don't win the national championship?
That's it. Okay, everybody says we've got a $20 million NIL team. Okay. If you go around and add up other teams' NIL, I'm sure there's going to be big bucks out there too, not just for Ohio State. So I kept thinking, all right, if they can him, who they going to go get? I mean, who is the Dabo? I mean, who's the marquee name? Kirby Smart? I don't know if you're going to get the coach to take his place at Ohio State. I don't know if he's out there. And I'm like you, I don't know if they want to put up with the pressure because, I mean, the guy, as I just talked to Andrew before you got here, you know, you look at Ohio State, hammered Tennessee, made Oregon look like a middle school team, and beat Texas down there on Texas's turf for all intents and purposes. That's 3 quality programs that you've pretty much manhandled. So
Yeah. No, I don't. I'd be shocked. I don't see any way. There's no way. That'd be crazy. I think he's gonna be just fine.
Yep. The other story, I want to get your take on this. This is about the Cowboys, and as I said earlier with Andrew, when Trey Lamb left East Tennessee State, I said, jokingly but not jokingly, I said, why don't they go after Jason Witten? Bring him back. If you've ever been to his Witten Huddle camps, he picked up the phone. He had the who's who of the Cowboys back then come to town and be volunteer counselors at these camps. He could put together a coaching staff like that, including probably Sean and Ryan, his brothers. So they didn't. But the story came out yesterday. Jerry Jones, before McCarthy got let go, and I got it right over here, it said, we want him to come back for the second tenure under the pretenses we want him to bring in Jason Witten to groom him as the heir to the throne because McCarthy's 61 years old. McCarthy said, I ain't playing, I'm gone. And so that's where we are with that. But Jason Witten, by Jerry Jones, who loves Jason Witten, understandably so, said, I want this guy to come he's won back-to-back state championships at Christian school, which is not the NFL, but he knows what kind of man he is. He's been successful anywhere he's gone. So McCarthy said no to that. Jones said, see ya. So now they're talking to Deion. So what's your take on Witten being there, Deion Sanders possibly being there? Mike Tomlin came out yesterday and said, you can stop the conversation. I'm not going to Dallas. I'm not leaving Pittsburgh. He has a no-trade clause. He's not going anywhere. He said, I'm staying here and getting ready for 2025. I'm not leaving the Steelers. At least I'm not. They may run me off, but he has a no contract. No contract, no trade clause. I'm sorry, in his contract. So, what's your take on all that, sir?
Deion going to the pros. I mean, I think he'd be crazy not to if he got the opportunity. And I'm assuming his kids would follow.
Well, that's part of the deal.
I mean, it had
That's
to
the
be.
stipulation. My kids are coming with me. So I think that's going to be a locker room division.
It will be. It'd be tough. I mean, I was watching ESPN the other day. They were talking about it like you got all these veterans that are in there, and these rookies are going to come in and obviously be over everybody just because they're dad.
Exactly.
I don't know. I kind of like it though. As a dad, I'm just saying as a dad. I mean, he's coached his kids since Pee Wee.
Mm-hmm.
Coached them in high school. Coached them at small college, and then moved up to the bigs. If you get to follow him on the way, why would you not?
And I totally get that as a dad, because I'm a dad. I'm a granddad, so I totally get that. But if you're trying to win a championship, all right, Tom Taylor's a new coach. He brings in his son. Let me think of my son's name. Cody. Cody Taylor's my son. He's going to come in and he's going to play point guard. You're one of the guys that are playing point guard. And you get in real quick and look and go. You get down the hall and go, this guy ain't got a clue. He don't know what he's doing. But it's the old man's kid. He ain't going anywhere. And all of a sudden, you know, and the locker room's going to go, you're right, or the other locker room's going to say, because I had this happen when I played in high school. Same thing happened. Some of the guys said, just leave him alone. He's okay. He's coach's son. He's got to do what he's got to do. The other said, nah, he didn't have any business starting because he can't play. And all of a sudden, it divided the locker room. And it never did get undivided until the day we graduated. This is part of it. Now, the old Italian saying, blood is thicker than water. So I get that. From a dad standpoint, what a thrill to coach your kid on any level, which he's done. I'm talking about referencing Dion. But if you're trying to win a world championship and that's the goal to win a Super Bowl, I don't know if that's a good scenario. We'll see. But then it could be Jaden Daniels and get drafted and be the thing they were looking for, the quarterback they needed. So but that's a 50-50 shot. So we'll see. But Jerry Jones made it very plain. I'm going to hire the guy. I'm going to make that call. Troy Aikman says you got to have a plan. He says, I'm Jerry Jones. I do have a plan. So stay tuned for the Dallas Cowboys. All right, so college basketball. Last night we have 3 upsets. Alabama goes down by 10 to Ole Miss. Number 4 in the country. Number 5, Florida goes down. They lose to Missouri by 1. And 25th ranked Baylor loses to Arizona by 11. So college basketball, Tennessee's got we got Georgia tonight. Georgia 23rd, the Volunteers at number 6. Another good one tonight, number 2, Iowa State, and number 9, Kansas. So you're a college basketball junkie, and that's really why I got him to come in here to do this last night and invite him on the show. So what's the state of college basketball? Is it good? You like all the parity? And who's your top 2 or 3 teams right now?
I think it's good. I mean, I think it's like I was telling someone 2 days ago, we were talking about this exact same thing. It's like, how good is March Madness going to be? I mean, there's just there's no dominant team.
Nope, no clear-cut
You would
favorite.
have thought Tennessee was going to be really, really good, and they can have a bad night. I mean, it's just part of basketball. And then anybody can beat anybody. I mean, you look at Florida, they played so good against Tennessee, and then they lose to Missouri, and it's like, how does that even happen? And then you look at Iowa State, the other night they were down quite a bit to whoever, I don't remember who the team, and they came back and won in overtime. It's going to be a dogfight. I mean, I think I'm a Duke fan, so I'm excited because I mean they're really good this year. But I think it could be every bit of 10 teams that could win it all, and it's whoever gets hot at the end.
So I'm going to ask you to be Rick Barnes. They go down and lay an egg. You live with a 3 and die with a 3. And the night they got beat, they died with a 3, obviously. They just didn't shoot well at all. And they got, only you got run off the floor. They got whipped pretty good. So you're him, or let's say your team, Crockett. You guys go out and lay an egg. You don't even play even close to your potential. What do you tell them to get them back up and say, okay, guys, that was behind us. We got to get ready for the next game, which would have been Texas for the ball. So as a coach, how do you bring those guys back around and say, okay, we're not going to push the panic button? What will Cody do?
You got to look at the end goal. It's a long season for a reason. If you're just worried about one game and you lose in one game and that's going to ruin your season, then you got more problems. It's about the same thing I told them last night, like, win or lose this game, we're going to be fine. You just make it tougher. If you lose, and it's a little different at the college level because your tournament really, the way you win it comes down to the March Madness, not as much as regular season. Obviously, it does matter because what seeding you get, but to where us, it's like, if we want to win a conference championship, we can't afford to lose one to a team, early on. Like it's got to be late, and you've got to already have everything wrapped up. Where we need to beat Tennessee High. Like that should be the team we're going after. We're going after Tennessee High. You got to beat those other teams first. You know what I'm saying? Like if you want to beat Tennessee High, that's what everybody talks about. Well, we got to beat Unicorn Elizabeth, and the same thing at college level. Like I think the biggest thing is you got to see what your end goal is, and work from there. And know that what's got us this far is we're really good at shooting. We're going to have a bad night, and we know that. But I can afford one bad night and have 9 really good nights.
And I'm sure that's what Lucas is telling his kids today for practice, I'm sure. It's like, okay, guys, we got to, it's a long season. It's one game. It's going to make it tougher to win the championship. That's exactly what you said, and I'm sure that's what he's going to convey to the kids today in practice at Elizabethton. And so, I'm sure that's what Barnes said. Okay, we got beat. Who beat them? Who was the team that got us? Florida. Gators got us. That's right, down in Gainesville. Got us pretty good. I think they play them again, a home and away. And so, we got rearview mirror, folks. We got to worry about Texas. And now this week it's Georgia and Vanderbilt. So.
And I think with Lucas, it's more of he's got to look at, like, man, look at that layup we missed with 3 seconds to go. We make that, we win the ball game. Or look at those little free throws we missed. And the same thing I would have said to my guys is, like, look at that backdoor layup you almost gave up with Steven Hensley. Like, when I just walked out of the timeout and said, hey, don't get backdoored here because that's probably what they're doing. And sure enough, he gets backdoored. It's just those little things you're going to tweak and fix to get better throughout the season. That's why it's a long season. You got to work on the little things and tweak them early. That way they don't happen again in tournament time. So that's the thing is you got to just keep them motivated. And I'm assuming Tennessee was 13-0 and came in there thinking, hey, we beat everybody else. We can have a bad quarter or bad half or whatever it is, and you just can't at that level.
How many years you been at it, head coach?
This is 14 years of coaching, middle school level as well, but this is my 6th year here at Crockett.
6-year head coach. You go home and replay it? You lay it in the bed and go back and
I'll watch every game when I go home.
I mean, when in your brain, do you lay in
Oh,
the
yeah.
bed and go, okay, old Tom Taylor missed that backdoor layup, or he should have stole that ball, he put it right in front. I mean, do you go back and run through every play in your brain?
Every bit. I can tell you when I'm watching the film, I know what's happening next. I mean, and it's just something like when you study it enough and you play enough and you care about it enough as we do, that's all we live. I mean, we love the game of basketball. We love our group. We love our coaching staff, and it's just what you do as a coach.
So I do the same thing. I went home last night, sit down for about an hour, and went, okay, what did I not do what I should have done as far as broadcasting the game? Okay, I missed that point. That was a pretty good point I made because I always constantly are critiquing myself to say, okay, what could I have done to broadcast better? Because Daddy used to say, every day's your resume. What you did yesterday doesn't matter. You beat Elizabeth yesterday, lost Crockett last. Today's a new day.
Yep.
Resume. What are you going to do today? What are you going to do to better yourself today? And so I always think, just like you, how can I coach better? I was like, okay, how can I call game better? What is it I can do better? That's kind of how I was raised, how I'm wired. So if you had to stop today and say, this is the national, you're probably going to say Duke, obviously, because you're Dookie, but this is the national championship college basketball team. Here's the 2 teams in the Final Four. This is it. This team's going to play this team. Prognosticator, what would you say?
I'm saying Duke and Alabama.
Duke and Alabama. Okay. I could have this guy on the show every day. I'm just telling you. I love this guy. This guy is so cool. I love his father. Love his daddy. Love your mama. I remember back in the day when Kirby was, let's see, where were you at? I guess Kevin was pitching for Boone at that point, wasn't he? And so Kirby's running around there with one of those little plastic wiffle ball bats, being a nuisance to everybody.
Yeah.
Flying around. Remember those days?
Oh, yeah.
Is it still a nuisance?
Oh, yeah. Every day. Nothing's changed. He is what he is.
Siblings. Nothing's changed. Kirby Cannell's still a pest. He's still a nuisance. I love it. So, anyway, we go back a long way. And so you got Duke and Alabama for the national championship. All right. So, I was going to ask you something else. Oh, from a basketball guy, you could sit down and have lunch with any basketball coach, player, past or present, live, they passed on. Anybody can sit right over here and say, I want to talk hoops with you. You would talk to who? And you maybe have more than one, but
Probably Coach K.
Mike Krzyzewski.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
But I mean, I talk to other guys around here like John Dyer. Like he's my guy. Like
Mhm.
I love going to eat. We go eat once a month. Sit down and I just sit there and just soak it up.
Mhm.
I mean, he's been doing it so long. John Good, we talk every other day. I mean,
Mhm.
those guys that have been doing it way longer than I have. I love talking to those guys that just know the game, that are just pretty much teaching me things that I don't know about. They've been doing it longer than I have, and if I got questions, I call those guys. I mean, so it don't really, to me, it doesn't have to be a famous person. I mean, like I said, John Dyer, man, when I tell my wife I'm going to eat with John, like it's my favorite part of the day. I love it.
So you look around here, the late Buck Van Huss, the late Bobby Snyder, the late Dickie Warren, the late Charlie Bayless. You got George Pitstill with us, the late Dale Burns, John McCreary when he was over at Sullivan North back in the day. I'm going to leave somebody out. I'm trying to hit them all. Who am I leaving out? I'm leaving out and these guys were just like Lynn Duggar, Elizabethan. I mean, these guys are legends, and they probably forgot more basketball. And you know this because I would talk to teams when they came in with the Arby said, you come here and play these local teams in East Tennessee, they're going to coach you. You're in a dogfight because these guys got their teams ready to go. So you're right. We've been blessed with a lot of great coaches around here. Well, we got some great coaches now, you being one of them. So it's it is what it is. But that's a good point. You would probably sit down with Coach Krzyzewski and pick his brain.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I don't really know why. And it's a little different because I guess he's at the college level, but I like talking to high school coaches just because they're dealing with the same stuff we do. They got problems just as much as I do.
Yeah, they do.
So
At least when I was doing the track announcer at the Speedway, you know, we get back up in the car hall and sit around. I just stand around listening to the NASCAR guys, the drivers, I mean, the big boys. I wouldn't say it, just sit and listen to them, like in a rain delay or whatever, and they have the same problems we have.
Yep.
They just got a lot more money than we do, but their problems are still problems.
Yep.
You know, the wife's mad at me, or this, you know, I got a crew chief mad at me, or this guy's mad, sponsors, PO, whatever. So they deal with the same things we deal with, except on a bigger scope. So, yeah, everybody's dealing with problems.
Yep.
We're all human, so. Man, I loved it. Thanks for coming by. It was
Absolutely. I'm glad you invited me, and let me know when you want me to come back. I'd
Absolutely.
love to do it.
And one more time, big thanks to Josh Kite last night. Josh, I mean, like I said, it made me feel like $1 million. We don't always get that when we go on the road, but most of the time we do. Sometimes everybody's a little, But Josh Kite said, what's it going to take to get you where you want to sit up? I said, well, I get up on top tonight and have a better wide angle of the broadcast. And you can see on the screen, it's a really good shot. See, I don't know if you've even seen it. Let me show you real quick. And I'll let you go because he's hungry. What time's practice?
We're off today.
Oh.
Yep, gave him off today. So
Yeah.
we'll go Thursday, Friday.
There's another guy, Thomas Gooch, said didn't get a chance to see you last night. So talk to you because he was all wrapped up in the game. I like old Gooch, too. He's all right. He's
a great one.
He is a great one. He's a keeper.
So smart, just works hard. Just
See that? That's a pretty good angle, isn't it?
That's pretty incredible. That's awesome.
Yeah. So Josh put me up there where I could get down and get that angle. So,
That's sweet.
yep, class act. So enjoy lunch. We'll have you back in soon. So
Sure,
you're
man.
Duke and Alabama for the national championship.
Mark it. Write it down, baby.
Take it to Vegas. Coach Cody Cannell, coach of the Crockett Pioneers. Appreciate him very much. We'll take a break. He's here. Our buddy Jeff Birchville. We'll talk NASCAR. We'll talk, we've got a lot of things to talk about. He joins us next on the Tom Dillon Sports Show live at Chick-fil-A here in Johnson City.
All right. We ready for story time? Yes, Warren?
Mrs. Turner, for your last day, we would like to tell the story.
Okay.
Once upon a time, in this town, a little girl named Meredith Turner was born. And she grew up right here.
She went to this very school and graduated right here. She went away for a short time to learn to be a teacher.
But she came back to teach right here.
She got married and raised a family right here. Our moms and dads had you as their teacher right here.
And we do too. So right here, we'd all like to say,
We love you, Mrs. Turner!
Back on the Tom Dillon Sports Show. Let's say hello to some folks. Beverly Stubbs. Is your daddy watching? Is that Daddy Bill? You think?
I can't see your phone, but it might be.
Well, there it is. Is that him?
I can't tell.
Jamie,
Let me look. Well, maybe. I think that's him.
Jamie Stubbs. Hello to you. I'm sorry, Jamie Stewart, Beverly Stubbs. Pauline Riggins. Thank you, ladies. Diana Hopkins. Jacob Boven, Boven, probably Boven, B-O-V-E-N. Again, if I butcher these, I don't mean to. So, hello, Evelyn Story. How you doing, lady? Jorge Marquez, Jimmy Gumble, Jess Robertson, Tina Lombardo. These are all new names. Thank you. Mary Wagstaff, Janet Cockrell, Phyllis Riaz, Philip Norris, Loretta Sanders. Thank you, ma'am. You're very kind. You did a great job. Thank you. I give the Lord credit for that. Carrie Nixon, Debs Griff, Connie Carruthers. Let me get a couple more here. Martha Renaud, Rebecca Swain, and Janice Jackson, Amber Renee, and Paula Rogers, and Lorraine Everhart. There you go. And Teresa Franklin. Thank you all. Rose Marcellin's watching, so is Dale Powers. So we're here live at Chick-fil-A. It's National Hat Day. If you come into the store today with a hat on of any kind, you get a free Key Lime Sunjoy just for coming in and just for wearing a hat. It's national. Did you know it's National Hat Day? I did not.
I got to run out the car and get my cap on.
There, you can get your coonskin cap. So I love this guy too. Here's the beauty doing this show. I've made friends. It'll be 10 years next month. Started the show. I get to make friends with this guy. He's here all the time. You know that. The Cody Cannells, the Andrew Smiths, who's here earlier. Love doing this show for that reason only. The friends I've made in the business. It's all about relationships, is it not?
It is. That's the best part about being a sports writer, really.
Yeah. And, of course, he's a NASCAR guy. He's up around all those NASCAR drivers. So we're going to touch on a little NASCAR here, and then we'll get into some other sports. So our rib of the Daytona 500 is sold out, which is great to start the season, the 67th running. That's good news for the sport, is it not?
Great news for the sport. It really is.
And so the Daytona 500 is a sellout. What's February the 12th?
16th, I think.
16th, you're right. 16th. So then you have Mike Wallace wanting to make a comeback, and NASCAR said no. Why?
Well, he'd been out of the car for so long, and I mean, although Daytona, even though you have the big wrecks at Daytona and Talladega, they're probably the two easiest tracks to drive in one sense.
Put that back on because it's cutting out for some reason. So.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. So anyway, though, he was, had been out of the car for a while, and I guess NASCAR's just a little leery being in those big packs, didn't want to, wreck or anything like that, the multi-car.
But can they tell him, can they say, legally, legally, they deny you a chance to work. There's probably a legal situation where, you're denying a guy a chance to make a living to drive a race car in this race. I guess I'm splitting hairs, but can they say, does he have any, let me go back. Does he have any rebuttal? If what's done's done. Can he fight it?
Well, I guess they could put him through some tests like they used to put the drivers through the rookie tests where they'd let them, get on the track at Darlington. And then they've denied guys before who's really not had, experience on super speedways, just been short track racers. So it's not an unprecedented deal.
So he could fight it. Do you think he will?
I don't really think he will. I know he's had some people like Dale Jr., in his corner. And Mike has been a good restrictor plate racer, although I say restrictor plate still, even though I know they use the tapered spacers now. But at those drafting tracks, he's been good over the years. But I don't know. I don't think he'll end up fighting it.
The Chili Bowl. What's going on with the Chili Bowl right now?
Well, it finished up, I think, over the weekend. So, or wait a second. Let's see. I think that was this past weekend when it finished up. I have to look at that and see, honestly.
I saw where Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell were duking it out one night in the racing. I don't know if it's over or not, but
yeah, that was a Tulsa shootout. And anyway, Christopher Bell ended up holding Kyle Larson off at the very end on that.
Hello, Anthony Brewster. Thank you for watching. And Sarah Smith. Hello to Michael Allery. Hope I'm saying right. Again, if I butcher, look, I'm an old country boy. If I butcher your names, I certainly don't mean to. Your name is Jeff Birchfield. I can get that one right. Billy Guerrero, thank you, sir. And Rachel Hunter, thank you, ma'am. Don Gamachi, hope I'm saying it right. Eric Von Stralen, Keith Barnett. We know Keith Barnett, don't we?
Yeah, sure do.
Yeah. Hello to Deb Norotsky. So, hello to Penny Hurd, says, good job, guys. Thank you, Penny. Hello, Penny. How you doing? Hello.
Nice to see you. It's
nice
been a long time.
Yeah. Old Conway said, hello, darling. Oh, yeah.
I could tell you about this joke with Conway Twitty. The preacher looked like Conway Twitty, but that was probably better left off there.
Leave it all there. What was the song you were singing?
Hello, darling.
Hello, darling. Nice to see you. Oh, yeah. It's been a long, long time. Yep. Hello to Cat Lynn. How you doing? And David Baldoff. Again, I'm sure I'm butchering these names, and I don't mean to. So NASCAR's getting cranked up, getting ever so closer. Speed Week getting ready to roll off. The Clash, they moved it from L.A. to Winston-Salem, is that right?
Yeah, to Bowman Gray Stadium. I've been over there before and watched late model racing and modifieds. Man, that's such a fun place to go to.
You think it's good to move from L.A. to back to in the South where it should be?
Oh, yeah. I'd actually like to see it back in Daytona, honestly. I thought it was always good to have that whole week of, the Clash, and then you'd have qualifying, and you'd have – and I know it's a little more expensive on the teams, but I just thought that was a great build-up for the Daytona 500 the way they always used to do it.
They have the corporate sponsor, by the way, is Cookout. They're called the Cookout Clash in Winston-Salem. So, in fact, they're already sending up. There's Jill Mullis. I was wanting to meet her last night. Her son plays at Crockett, and hello, lady, how you doing? I wanted to meet her and thank her because she always watches the show. Thank you, ma'am, but I didn't get a chance to cross paths with you. Hello to Jess Bonowitz. Hello to Dan Isabel. Hello to Kat Lynn. Hello to David Baldahl. So it's going to be, right, I got a thing today from NASCAR talking about parking is going to be limited. So what's it hold over there as far as seating?
About 17,000 people. One thing good, though, there's a lot of space around there where people tailgate and all for like their weekly shows. But I'm sure now for the Clash, if they do have an extra large crowd, you know, it is probably going to be a little tight for sure.
Yeah, they said parking is going to be at a premium in Winston-Salem for this event. When it's coming up soon, isn't it?
Yeah, it comes up, I think, on February 2nd
Yeah.
also. And I love that track. I mean, my brother and I went over there, and, I mean, of course, Winston-Salem State plays their football games. It used to be Wake Forest's home field, so it's really nice. I mean, it's as nice as any of the Cup Series tracks about as far as just facilities.
So have you started talking, reaching out to the drivers yet, kind of getting interviews, getting stories?
I've been working on stories, but I've been working on more stuff where I've not had to talk to the drivers. Like one of the stories I've got for the race tab coming up, I think people find interesting is the best drivers ever in NASCAR not to win a race. And when I say that, though, they have to have at least 100 starts. But some guys like Dick Trickle, Joe Ruttman, you know, Ted Musgrave, Rick Mast, you know, some of those guys are some of the ones, you know, we mentioned there.
I met a guy, I don't know if he ever won any races. He was one of the coolest guys back in the day when I was doing a lot of NASCAR stuff. Lake Speed. Did he ever win anything?
Well, Lake Speed did win a race. He won at Darlington one year.
Oh, a great guy.
So that eliminated him. And then one guy locally on that list that had like a really good career back in the 60s was G.C. Spencer, you know, lived in Bluff City and lived in Jonesboro.
Another guy I interviewed one time, he drove at that point, had John Deere as his sponsor, was Chad Little, who was married to, I guess, I don't know if he still is, this has been a lot of years ago. He was married to a lady from Kingsport, so we had a...
Yeah, Donna Moore, and they're still married, and then Chad's got other family in the area. His nephew, Rio, played football for Chucky Doak a couple of years ago. He's a really good football player. So.
There you go. So it's really cool to be around those drivers, and, of course, they love this guy because he's been at it so long, and, you know, they know he's going to write a fair and honest story when he interviews them. So some of the guys I've dealt with in NASCAR, some of them can be a little quirky. Most of them are pretty accessible because they're in a fishbowl and they know it comes with the job. But some of them can be a little cantankerous, can't they?
They can be, but, you know, as much as I love covering the, you know, big stars in NASCAR, I enjoy just as much the guys at Kingsport Speedway. You know, they have their mall show coming up here also here in like a month, I think on February 22nd.
Yeah, so that's this thing. You know where I'm going after this, don't you?
Where is that, Kingsport Speedway?
No. You know where I'm going after the show?
I do not.
I'm going to leave right there. I got it fixed. Got a short in it. We're going to Best Buy and buy a microphone cord, which is right up the, look, I can see it from here. We're going to make a little trip to Best Buy. I have to buy a mic cord because that one's apparently seen its better days. So
Well, yeah, one of them Birchfield spells his name the wrong way come by a second ago.
he'd be the owner of Chick-fil-A, who is a great guy. So, all right, so what's some of the storylines? We're, you know, a little over a month out till we get started the season. Actually, it's a month from tomorrow. It's the 16th, so we're 31 days from the start of the NASCAR season. I'm going to say one of the storylines will be Kyle Busch. Can he make a comeback? I read the other day where his kids racing now. And they all said, well, the old man's going to back out of racing. He's going to focus on Brexton. And I don't know if that's the case or not. I would not think so. I think he's pretty competitive. So is that a storyline?
Well, I think it is a storyline whether he can return victory lane.
Right.
And I'd fully expect Richard Childress Racing to be a little more competitive this year. They really weren't very competitive in many races. Kyle was runner-up in the Southern 500, finished second at Daytona, like in the summer, and then you had Austin Dillon win the race at Richmond. But other than that, they didn't have very many good runs, you know, in 2024. But I really think he'll get back on the winning track again this year.
So if they're out to listen to the show, I would be asking, okay, were they going to be more competitive this year than last year? So what do you think they have done or will do in the off season to be more competitive? They get new parts, they get new people. What will make them, if they weren't last year, what are they going to do this year to be more competitive?
Well, I think they have signed some new people, you know, and made some changes, you know, just within their organization. Also, you know, I think that, you know, I'm sure the drivers are spending a lot of time on the simulators, during this off season because, when you don't run well like that, and it's like that in any sport, a lot of teams that you'll see go to the Super Bowl and then the next year they'll have a tough time coming back. You have that tendency to, want to work harder when you've had a down year.
For folks out there who may not know what we're talking about, tell them, because he's been around NASCAR for years. There's a simulator. What's that all about?
Well, now each of the manufacturers have their own simulators, like Chevrolet, Ford, and Toyota, and it's more advanced than like your typical video game. You actually get in it and you can feel a lot of what the tracks feel like. Now, it's not perfect. Like a driver said, like Bristol, you have a lot more bumps and, more of a sensation on the actual racetrack than you do in the simulator. But at a lot of these tracks, that simulator is really close to what you feel inside the race car.
So for us, it'd be like we go to the arcade and put the money in and sit in that little chair and drive through the.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about, a simulator.
Yeah, it's like that, but like I said, it's a lot more advanced because the teams can actually set up their car from the simulators.
There you go. So that's what they're doing now, getting ready because they'll get on track.
Just a couple of weeks.
Yeah. So one storyline's Kyle Busch as a journalist covering NASCAR for the Johnson City Press, and he's at the Speedway all the time. What is another couple of stories you're going to be looking at this year?
Well, as far as the season itself, Team Penske, can they three-peat, or I guess four-peat now, because you've had Joey Logano win 2 championships and Ryan Blaney. Yeah. So if they advance, that final race in Phoenix looks like they'll be hard to beat. Of course, more locally here at Bristol, can Denny Hamlin repeat as Food City 500 champion, and how will the tires be? Last spring you had those tires falling all apart, and I thought it made a great race, and then whatever, Goodyear said they come back the same tires, but it's hard to believe that because, in the September race we had no tire fall off. Guys, didn't do them any good to go in and get fresh tires, and, Kyle Larson just absolutely ran away with that race.
If you could, we're talking to Jeff Birchfield, we're talking NASCAR. We'll ask him about college football national championship here in a minute. The Great American Race, the Daytona 500, obviously kicks off the season. Everybody says it's the race of the year. Do you like it being the first race? Would you like to, I'm going to use a football analogy. Elizabeth and Greenville plays that last game of the regular season. EB Science Hill, the big game is the last game of the season. Would you rather, is it okay to have the Daytona in the beginning? Would you rather have the middle of the season or have it be the last race of the year, or you like it where it's at?
Well, you talk about high school football. Elizabeth and Science Hill always play that first week, which is a huge game as well.
Good point.
But, I like it opening the season. It opens the season with a lot of excitement and a lot of momentum those first few weeks. To me, like I've said before, I'm not the biggest fan of the, super speedway racing. It's not in some ways because a lot of times the drivers will lay back for 80% of the race, and then the last 20% of the race will be wreck after wreck, and just it seems like luck of the draw as much as talent and skill as far as who wins.
So the short track racing, you ain't got time to sit back there and it's bumping and grinding, because if you've ever been to Bristol, you know that you got 14, 15-second laps, and you're humming along, everything's good. Next thing you know, Birchfield has a tire go down. I'm right behind him. All of a sudden, I got problems. I got a guy right behind me going 115 miles an hour, like right here, this close to the screen. Am I right?
Yeah.
That's how it works. And all of a sudden, rut row, we got troubles. We were doing good. We're just gliding along, minding our own business. Rut row, we got troubles, and you got the guy hitting me in behind, trying to avoid Jeff up front with the tire went down. So all of a sudden, like that, things can go wrong with the short track racing. The super speedway, I've never been to Daytona. They say that they'll come around. You wait about another 2 or 3 minutes, they come back around again. Is that right?
Well, it's not 2 or 3 minutes, but it's about another 40 seconds. They come back around like that. But, yeah, it's right as far as all those packs, come past you. Last year went down to the duels races, on Thursday and had a lot of fun, watching those for sure.
Who will be the rookie drivers this year, NASCAR?
Golly, you just asked me a question. My mind just went completely blank on that. I was trying to remember who's moving up.
Carson Hocemer?
Well, he was there last year.
He was there last year, okay.
Yeah, let's see. I was trying to remember.
Well, don't burn your brain out. That's your homework assignment for next week.
Yeah, that'll be it.
The rookie drivers will be
I know Connor Zillich is going to be in the Xfinity Series, the guy driving for Junior Motorsports, where there's a lot of, buzz about.
So Connor Zillich is one of those guys we got to keep an eye on.
Yeah,
Correct?
yeah, definitely. And he's a really talented road racer as well. And he's also racing in the Rolex 24 at Daytona.
So you look at Tony Stewart, who's got out of NASCAR. He's now very much into NHRA with his wife and their new child. So do you ever see him coming back and make any kind of splash in NASCAR or not?
I really don't. I mean, he seems like he's been burned out with NASCAR, you know.
Yeah, it's a good way to describe it. He stays at odds with him. So you got the Busch storyline. You got the Team Penske storyline. Got anything else you're going to be
Well,
watching?
I mean, Hendrick Motorsports, can they ascend back to the top? Of course, William Byron won the Daytona 500 last year. He was my pick to win the championship, but just come up a little bit short on that deal.
College football national championship. We'll switch gears. Ohio State, Notre Dame. Who wins and why?
I think, I've been picking with my heart instead of my head, and I picked against Ohio State last week. But, I mean, clearly they're the best team in college football. The funny thing about that, though, if you'd had the old playoff format where they had the 2 losses last game of the season with Michigan, they wouldn't even made the playoffs. But I think the way it's set up now, I see Ohio State probably winning by at least 2 touchdowns over Notre Dame.
You got the Buckeyes on Monday night. All right. What are you working on? What's some of the stories you're working on?
Working on some stuff with the Big South Conference tournaments coming up in Johnson City. We're going to have a special section on that. Tomorrow, Elizabethton High School, we talked about one of their alumni, is Michael Morrell. So he's coach over there at UNC Asheville. So got a feature about him. Of course, ETSU plays at Furman tonight, so I'll have a staff report on it. I'm not going to Greenville, but I'll track the game online and on ESPN Plus. And then also supposed to talk to Brenda Mock Brown, the ETSU women's coach, here after a while. And then a bunch of high school games. I had Science Hill last night, looked good against Morristown West, and then looked like you had an absolute dandy down there with Elizabethton and Crockett.
We did. Went into overtime. Got to see our buddy Andrew Smith there, and Crockett won it by 11. So, yeah, it was a great ball game. Science Hill can play. They got a good ball club.
They've got a good ball club. And then you mentioned Bonowitz watching the show. I know University High pulled out a close one against Volunteer last night. So, good win for the Bucks. They've got a really good team this year.
Yep. Hello to Sandy Maley. What was that, right? Peter Long, Cynthia Hennigan. Let's see. Janae Johnston, Alyssa King, Ricky Rogers, Carol Griffith, Charlie Holcomb, Edna Brown, Britton Hamilton. These are all new names, thank you. Patty Libby, thank you for watching. Richard Landry, Donald Larson, Jennifer Williams. Who would you like to have lunch with, the country music star? You mentioned Conway. You got me thinking about Conway now. So if you can sit down and have lunch with any country music star that's either gone or still with us, who would you sit down and go, let's have lunch? I just want to talk to a country music star. Who would it be?
I guess it'd be Johnny Cash. Always probably is my favorite, I guess, of all the country music stars.
Yeah. Mine would be, no question, George Jones. Love him. The Possum.
The Possum.
He stopped loving her today. Oh, baby. I'll bust out on one here, and everybody will run because I can't call hogs. But George Jones, I'd like to meet George Strait. I think he'd be very interesting.
Yeah, I guess as far as living, he'd be very interesting. I mean, I like to meet Garth Brooks. I guess my buddy Wes Holtzclaw singing Garth Brooks in concert about 50 sometimes, I think. Now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
George Strait already tonight, 72's got 50-some number 1 singles, more than anybody else, I think, in the history of music, and country music for sure. So still going, he's still out there on tour, I think, here and there and everywhere. Willie's in his 90s. That'd be a good one to sit down and talk to.
Yeah, it'd be fun. A couple of East Tennessee folks, with Kenny Chesney being an ETSU grad, and then obviously with Dolly, she's done so much for our area. I've never actually personally met Dolly, but if you and I both have a friend, Wes Ramey, who's used to work at the Speedways, worked with Dolly for several years, talks about what a fantastic person she is.
Fantastic human being. I don't know if I ever told you a story about Willie. I met him back when I was at college. He came in to do a concert for homecoming. It's a great story, and I won't keep you long, but it was really cool. So, and all these people in there. Of course, I'm in college at that point. I was working with the local radio station there in West Virginia. So Willie's got this big high-rise chair. He's got this lady who looked like she came out of a magazine. She was beautiful, and she was braiding his hair in the pigtails of the concert. And so all these kids, all these guys were asking about his next album, when he's on tour and all this. Well, I knew he was a baseball guy.
Yeah.
I said, what do you think the Texas, this was in the spring. It was a spring homecoming concert. Yeah, it's getting ready to go to spring training. I said, what do you think the Rangers are going to do this year? He stopped. He said, Texas Rangers? Yeah, Texas Rangers. What do you think? So he starts breaking. I mean, this guy knew second baseman is Jeff Birchfield, shortstop's Tom Taylor, third base is Coretta Clowney, left field is Penny. I mean, he knew this. And I said, okay. So the mini press conference is over. It was back in his dressing room. He said, okay, everybody, thank you for coming. And all the PR people ushered him out there. And he went, you, stay right here. Stay right here. So me and Willie, I got to sit with Willie one-on-one. He had a big old Foot Locker. I can tell this. And so Papa had spray painted stenciled Texas water. Opened it up, is iced down Coors beer back in the day. Because Coors, at that point, you couldn't get it east of Mississippi back in the day. He said, would you like to have a Coors? I said, I'd like to have some Texas water. I said, no, thank you. I don't drink, but thank you. So, well, all right. So we said, I bet we talked probably 5 or 10 minutes with me and him, one-on-one, talking about baseball. And he knew what he was talking about. And so it was really cool. So I always think it's neat, and you do this in NASCAR. You get up around those drivers, and, you know, they don't always want to talk about racing. You want to talk about other stuff, right?
Yeah.
These guys are, see, Burton was a big Kansas fan, wasn't he, Jeff Burton?
He unfortunately liked Duke.
Duke, okay. The guy that was from Kansas,
Clint Boyer.
Clint Boyer. He's a big Kansas guy. So so as I was talking to Cody before you got here, during the rain delays, we could back up in those car haulers, and I just stand around listening to those drivers. It's really interesting because they would talk about everything under the sun. They don't want to say they got tired of answering my questions or whoever's. Why did you wreck in the third lap in Darlington? Why did you have engine trouble? It's like, I want to talk about something besides that. And so it's really cool. And you get that all the time.
Yeah,
so.
I had 2 of my best stories I've ever done. I think one of them was talking to Carl Edwards about he did a bicycle tour of Vietnam, and talking about that. So it was really interesting. Then I got talking to Bobby Labonte about he loved airplanes and stuff. So, and I learned a lot, with that particular interview.
Carl Edwards doing a bike tour in Vietnam, bicycle tour.
Yeah, bicycle. He rode his bicycle all over Vietnam. It's really interesting.
It is interesting. So that's why I have him on, folks. This guy's interesting. He's forgot more about NASCAR than I could possibly think. That's why I get him on every week. So
you talking about music, though, I'll give you a sort of a funny thing. My daughter's 24 years old, and I bet you'll never guess her favorite band. It's from the 1960s. She loves 60s music.
The Beatles.
Close, but they had their own TV show.
Just the country? You talking about country?
No,
band? Hey, man, 1960 had their own. Don't tell me. They had their own TV show. It's a rock and roll band. Their own TV show. The Monkees.
That's it.
There
The
you
Monkees.
go.
She loved the Monkees, and then her favorite TV show, she loved those. It was like my favorite one growing up. She loved those reruns of the Brady Bunch.
Brady Bunch. Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. The Monkees. Last Train to Clarksville. Davy Jones, Michael Nesmith, Mickey Dolenz, and Peter Tork.
Hey, yeah, and Laura, my daughter, got to meet a couple of those guys before they passed. She didn't get to meet Davy Jones. Of course, he's been dead several years now, but she got to meet Mike Nesmith and Peter Tork. Of course, Mickey Dolenz is the only one left alive right now.
Yeah, the original Monkees. They had their TV show, you're right, and they were goofy. But those are funny shows. They're good, clean fun.
And they're never given any respect as musicians, but like you said, Last Train to Clarksville, even the Hey Hey We're the Monkees, Daydream Believer, they had some really great songs.
Daydream Believer, yeah. Don't start singing, Tom. Okay, I won't. But anyway, man, I'm glad you came by. You hungry?
Well, yeah, definitely. Ready to tear into some Chick-fil-A.
Get in there, rip them feathers off that thing, get you some chicken. I'm going to tell them take the feathers off you today so you don't have to, you get into it quicker. Say, de-feather this chicken for this boy. Feed him. See you next week.
All right, sounds great.
He's a good man. I enjoy his friendship. It's all about relationships, folks. I'm telling you, at the end of the day, it's what it's all about. I'm glad this old boy's my buddy. We'll take a break. We'll be right back after this. We'll take a look at some, what we're going to look at next. We got some college basketball. We've got some NFL news. Playoffs are coming up. We haven't even talked about that. We'll let him get something to do. We'll get him next week about the playoffs. But the divisional playoffs are this week. We'll take a break back after this on the Tom Taylor Sports.
This is Pastor Mark Fowler, and we want to invite you to be with us at Pleasant Beach Baptist Church sometime soon. And we're thankful for what God is doing, and we've had visitors almost every week. We have so many people that God is using His Word to accomplish a work in their life. And we want you to come. I think about our society today, and there's a lot of talk about the negative aspects and generations and what's missing and what we're going to do and how do we face this social issue and how do we face that social issue. And that is always the buzz. And if we're not careful, we talk like God doesn't have an answer. 2 Timothy chapter 3 we looked at the other night together in our church, and it reminds us that yes, in the last days there's going to be some difficult things come, dangerous times, but the antidote is always God's Word. And so what we're trying to do is to provide Bible answers for today's tough questions. And we're building Believers by the Book. So we want your family to come. We're thankful to have a Sunday school hour and a junior church and master clubs and a youth group and all those things going on. But what we're trying to accomplish is to get the Word of God into the hearts and minds of God's people.
At Chick-fil-A Caraway Village, we always look forward to seeing Ellie. Nick also.
Ellie just gets excited and bolts right towards them.
She loves to come and get the bag and trots right back to Nick.
We never even had to ask them to hand her the bag. The team members just automatically knew to do it. It was just that little thing, that level of customer service that kind of blew my mind.
We're just really glad that Nick shared Ellie with us. We take care of our guests, whether they're two-legged or four-legged.
And back with the Tom Dillon Sports Show. Thanks for being with us again on this. It's cold out there. It's going to get colder. We got temperatures going to be down to the teens, actually single digits next week. So, and it's not just for us. There's people all over the country. So, anyway, but here's the good part about that. Take heart because Major League Baseball spring training is not that far away. So, you know, like, it's easy for me to hold this. For some reason, I just like it versus putting it on the stand. So, anyway, Major League Baseball spring training starts next week. By the way, Greg, our regular Mr. Baseball guy, will be joining us on Friday at Food City this week. He had something going on today. So the Cubs will report for pitchers and catchers on February the 9th. Everybody else will pretty much come in on the 11th, the 12th, and the 13th. So spring training right around the corner for Major League Baseball, which is really cool. And, again, the days are getting longer. The nights are getting stronger, isn't that a song? But the days are getting longer with daylight savings time. I read where our president, incoming President Trump, will be inaugurated on Monday. One of his things he wants to, I don't even know what we're on, daylight savings time. I'm not sure what we're doing right now, but he wants to leave it like it was, where it stays dark. It stays light till 8 or 9 o'clock year round. I don't know if that's daylight savings time or not daylight. I'm not sure what. I get them mixed up. But anyway, he is talking about making it where the days will stay the same year round. And my point of all this is the shortest day of the year was December 21st, so it's already beginning to stay lighter longer, which is good for me. I'd much rather, well, the kids got to go to catch the bus. If you leave it that way, catch the bus in the dark. Kids don't care. They're going to go what they need to do what they're not going to worry about catching a bus in the dark. They do it for the first couple of months of the school year before they switch it in October, November when they make the switch. So anyway, Trump's talking about doing that. It's one of the things he has on his agenda to fix that, where it's going to stay lighter till 9 o'clock year round. We'll see. Mike Tomlin says, here's my answer, Pro Football News. Here's my answer to me being involved in a trade for Tomlin from another team. One team's already reportedly called the Steelers to inquire about trading for Tomlin, who just finished up his 18th year in Pittsburgh. Tomlin said, quote, I have no message, save your time. Tomlin, who has a no-trade clause in his contract, also made it clear yesterday in his season-ending press conference he has no plans to step down anytime soon, nor does he have any plans to leave the Pittsburgh Steelers. So Mike Tomlin is there. They had a disappointing year, of course. So when asked about George Pickens, Tomlin was non-committal regarding the team's desire to sign him to a contract extension. So anyway, Pickens apparently has caused some problems. He came late. Week number 17 lost to the Chiefs. Tomlin would not answer to or nor address that yesterday in the season-ending press conference in Pittsburgh. He did say, I'm not interested in going anywhere. So there you go. All right. For the first time in 30 years, something happened last night in college basketball, which is kind of cool and kind of not so cool. Iowa State's women's basketball team, the Lady Cyclones, had a record going 945 games they had made a three-pointer. That is crazy. The last time it started back in 1995. Wow. So to put that into perspective, the last time Iowa State did not make a three-pointer in a basketball game, they didn't last night, stopped a streak of 945 games. The last time they didn't make a three-pointer, the WNBA didn't even exist. UConn had not won any of its 11 NCAA titles. And Team USA's streak of 8 consecutive Olympic gold medals had not even began. That's how long ago it's been since Iowa State did not make a three-pointer. It didn't last night. Broke a string of 945 games. That's incredible. We'll take a look at college basketball. Let's do it now. Tonight's game's got some good ones going on tonight. Tennessee takes on Georgia at the Food City Center at 8 o'clock tonight. Number 6 Tennessee and number 23 Georgia. Also, the big one tonight, number 2 Iowa State hosting number 9 Kansas tonight. That's a biggie. Hello, Cheryl Salmon. How you doing, lady? John Alberson, hello to you. Thank you for watching. 12th ranked Michigan State will host Penn State tonight. 10th ranked Houston, the Cougars home to West Virginia, the old stomping ground. You're just watching the show. I'm originally from West Virginia. Hello, Jen Miller. I'm still from West Virginia. Just live here now in Tennessee. Faye, Larry, Jeff Rodino, William Powell, Dolores Salcedo. Sure I'm not getting that one right. Hello, Glenna. Hello to Chanel Brown. Hello to Dia Smith. Hello to Stephen Sholo. Hello to Ted. Hello to Lynn Corderi. Don Hutton. Cheryl Francis. Don Remellard. I'm sure I know I didn't say that one right. And I apologize. Hello, Dan. How you doing, buddy? Stephen. Jesus. Rhonda Marchetti. Carol Houston. Kay McMillan. John McLeod and Sean Lewis and Robin Kelly. Thank you all for watching the show. Appreciate that very much. And Blaine Grasso, Nancy Vogel, and Lindra Lynn says LW is watching. Thank you, LW. Never met you, but thank you. Appreciate that bunches. A couple of more tonight. 17th ranked Purdue. 17th ranked Boilermakers will be in Washington tonight. And 22nd ranked Utah State will be on the road at UNLV in men's top 25 college basketball. Of course, for our interest here locally, Tennessee plays Georgia tonight at the Food City Center. NBA tonight, who plays where? My boys are at home tonight against Memphis. The Grizzlies are going into San Antonio to battle the Spurs. Love me some Spurs back in the Tim Duncan day. Even further back, George Gervin, the Iceman. The Spurs will host Memphis tonight. Philadelphia hosting New York. The Celtics in Toronto against the Raptors. Chicago hosting Atlanta. Orlando will battle the Bucks in Milwaukee. Dallas and New Orleans. Denver at home tonight against Houston. Other NBA games, Golden State of Minnesota. There is talk of trading Steph Curry. So they're doing a complete overhaul of the Golden State Warriors. Haven't done it yet, but unless they've done it, I've been on the show. But there is talk of trading Steph Curry out of Golden State. Charlotte at Utah tonight. The Lakers hosting Miami, and Brooklyn will be in L.A. to battle the Clippers. That's your NBA schedule tonight. Last night, Nashville skated past Vegas in the National Hockey League. Big deal because Vegas had 29 wins, one of the top squads in the National Hockey League, and the Predators skate past them 5-3 in Nashville. 2 tonight, Carolina skates in Buffalo and Minnesota, a Wild home tonight to the Edmonton Oilers in the National Hockey League. Then you have a story that's out today, coming out of yesterday. The House on Tuesday passed legislation to ban transgender athletes from participating in girls and women's sports in public schools. I like it. The Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act passed with 208 in favor, 206 against, and 1 present. 2 Democrats joined all Republicans in support of the bill, which is now heading to the Senate. It would amend Title IX, the federal law that bans sex discrimination in schools, to recognize a person's sex as based solely on a person's reproductive biology and genetics at birth. Basically, a birth certificate. Were you born a girl, born a guy? And that's what you're going to go by, what they're going to go by. Those in favor argued that transgender athletes who were born male would have unfair biological advantages over girls and women which can be unsafe during sports. I would agree with that. Having played it, I would agree 100%. I wouldn't want to go play in girls' sports. I'm just telling you. Nothing wrong with girls' sports. I've got granddaughters that played. I got daughters that played. Got no problem with that. But for me personally, it would not do me any good at all to go play in a girls' game and dominate the girls. And I'm not sure. Maybe, here's the thing. I may not be able to dominate. You get some girls out there can play now. So you make the assumption, being a guy, you're going to be able to dominate women's sports, but maybe not. Because you got some very talented athletes out there that play, women were speaking of, playing women's sports. So I for me, would not be interested at all in going and competing in any way, shape, or form. Oh, Mike, how you doing, sir? With the ladies. But that's just me. An overwhelming majority of Americans believe that men don't belong in women's sports, and we must allow common sense to prevail, says Republican Greg Stube, if I'm saying his name right, out of Florida. So those against it said it could lead to intrusive genital examinations of the student athletes. Let me read that again. Those against it said it could lead to intrusive genital examinations of the student athletes. Anyway, the House passed it. It's going to the Senate now, banning transgender athletes from participating in girls' and women's sports in public schools. It got passed in the House. It's moving on now to the Senate. And then I don't know if they're trying to get it passed or failed under Biden's watch, because Monday it becomes Donald Trump's country as the new president. So I don't know whether they're trying to push it through before then. What's today, Wednesday? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I don't know if they're going to shut down in Washington for the inauguration. I would think they would. So I don't know if they're trying to push it through the 11th hour or not. But that's what happened yesterday. So I don't know how you think about that, but that's what they've said. That's what they voted on. 218 for it, 206 against it, and 1 present. So I guess that means that's a no vote. Tom Taylor Sports Show. Hello to Tim Blakeney. Hello to Javier Hernandez. Hello to Mariana Freeman, Nicole Holder, Christine Gray, Rhonda Riddick, Jessica Greider, Tim J. I can say these names. Christine Randolph, Gary Bowman, Mary May Anderson. I guess I'm saying that right. Mary May Anderson. Hello. Hello to Kate Fonts. Hello to Vic Denning, Jerry Aldridge, and Laurie, I guess, Laurie Rafferty. Hello, Laurie. How you doing? And then you got Dominique, Joe Deacons, Amanda Stridham, Nancy Vogel. I think we got them all caught up. I think I got them all. See if there's any more I got to add before we get out of here. Yeah, Michael Shields. No, Michael Shields. How you doing, sir? And Scott Morton. So, anyway, appreciate the opportunity to be on the show with you today. Tomorrow, we're going to be at Pete's Inn in Elizabethton. Old buffet. $10.99 buffet tomorrow for lunchtime. We were in there last week. Place was packed. So we'll be in there tomorrow. We got Brandon Sweeney coming tomorrow from Milligan. We got some other folks lined up. Friday we'll be at Food City, kicking off the weekend on a Food City Friday. We'll have that coming up on Friday. Looking forward to being with you on Friday. Again, getting ready for the weekend. National Championship coming up on Monday. Ohio State and the Ohio State and Notre Dame. Where did I get Miami at? Hello to Shirley. Hello to Brenda Highsmith. Hello to Scott Morton. We said Michael Shields. Hello to Kathy Slight. So, and I hope you and the family are doing well. We are, sir. I miss seeing you. And Carl, I hope you boys are still working, getting after it, making a difference wherever you are, blooming where you're planted, as they say. So, hello to Claude Wilson. So anyway, we thank you for being on the show here at Chick-fil-A, where again you come into this Chick-fil-A till closing night. If you have a hat on, it's National Hat Day. If you have a hat, come to this in-store, come inside the store. You get yourself a free Key Lime Sunjoy just for wearing a hat for National Hat Day, which I think is really cool. I didn't know that. I got my hat on, my Stetson, so guess what? I'm going to get a Key Lime Sunjoy coming up here in just a second. Big thanks to our guest today, Cody Cannell, coach of Crockett, Andrew Smith, sports writer, Johnson City Press, Jeff Birchfield, sports writer, Johnson City Press. Thank them for being on the show, and thank you for watching the show. We always give credit where credit's due, in my opinion. We always end the show by dedicating the show, which we always do, to the man hung on the cross. Now listen to this verse. Are you going through something right now? Yeah. Everybody's dealing with something. The late Charles Stanley said, we're all dealing with something. We got more money. We got more money. We got money. It's a financial situation. We got a medical situation. Us or we know somebody who's going through a tough test, a tough surgery, tough this, tough that, medically speaking. You have a relationship problem. You're mad at somebody. Somebody's mad at you. You got a wife mad, husband mad, son-in-law mad, kid mad, grandkid mad, picket, employee mad, employer mad, neighbor mad. Somebody's mad. And the fourth one is spiritual. You know somebody that doesn't know where they're going to spend eternity. So one of those four, maybe all four you're dealing with. Well, listen to this verse. Good way to end it here. Isaiah 41:13 says, "For I am the Lord your God, who takes hold of your right hand and says to you, do not fear. Whew. For I will help you." Is that not cool? That's awesome. For I am the Lord your God, who takes hold of your right hand and says to you, put your name in there, Tom, do not fear, for I will help you. How about that? That's pretty cool. I like it. It's a good way to end the show. Again, that's Isaiah 41:13 out of the Old Testament. Back with you tomorrow. Have a great day. We'll see if Tennessee can win tonight against the Georgia Bulldogs. And Iowa State hold off Kansas 2-9 tonight. We'll see how that goes. We'll talk all about that and more. We'll get ever so close to the NFL. Oh, yes, I want to tell you. I did my homework before we hang up here, before we get out of here. Did my homework. The playoff games, there will be snow in Philadelphia. No, it's going to be cold in Philadelphia. There's going to be snow in Buffalo. Well, that's a shocker for the Ravens game. It's going to be snowing in Buffalo on Sunday for the game. And it will not be. Now, let me double check here before I go. I looked this up early this morning. I was up early, like 4 o'clock. All right, Philadelphia weather. They're playing on Sunday. Yeah. It's going to be 38 and snow. 50% chance of snow in Philadelphia for the playoff game. Then let's go to Buffalo, New York. I can pretty well tell you what's going to happen there. They're going to have snow. I'm fairly certain of that. Buffalo, New York weather. Here we go. For the game for the Bills and the Ravens on Sunday. Oh, that's right. No, it's going to be snowing in Philadelphia, but it's going to be cold in Buffalo. It will be the high on Sunday in Buffalo will be 19. So they're going to be playing. It won't bother the Bills and the Buffalo fans because they're used to it. It'll be 19 degrees. Your high on Sunday in Buffalo, and the Bills battle the Ravens. So there you go. Kansas City going to be cold but no snow. Philadelphia will be some snow. Buffalo's just going to be cold. 19 degrees for your high in Buffalo for the football game against the Ravens. The Eagles have, who they got? They got the Rams, is that right? Yeah. So, anyway, that's it. We're out of time. We sincerely thank you for yours. Thank you for watching show number 2,217 of the Tom Taylor Sports Show. We'll do it again tomorrow. We'll start all over tomorrow right around 11 o'clock. And we'll get cranked up and get going. And we'll be at Pizza Inn in Elizabeth. If you don't have lunch plans, come over tomorrow and get that buffet. All you can eat. You got spaghetti noodles. You got the rotini noodles. You got the Alfredo. You got 18 pizzas on the bar at any given time. You got the salad bar down at the other end of the buffet. And you got the chocolate pudding and the fruit and the salad. You get your favorite drink for $10.99. That's all day, every day until the dinner time. Then they kick it up $1. It's $11.99 for the buffet in the evening. But good place to be. We'll be there tomorrow. Hope you'll join us. If you don't have lunch plans, come on by tomorrow and say hello to us. We'll be again at Pizza Inn in Elizabeth tomorrow. Till then, as always, we'll say, as Mom used to say every day, we get out and catch that school bus. She tell us 4 boys that we're heading out. Bloom where you're planted. Bloom where you're planted. Make a difference. Bloom where you're planted. We'd all go down to the other one. She'd say, Tom Taylor, I saw that. I saw that, Tom Taylor. Saw you making fun. Go, yes, ma'am. I'd get on the bus. You know what? I'd give anything. She's been gone 25, 30 years. Would give anything to have her to hear that one more time. I'm sure you got loved ones you like to do too. One more time. Hear my mama says we're going out the door to catch the school bus. Bloom where you're planted. Make a difference. I would give anything to hear that one more time. And I'd give anything to hear my father one more time. I was talking to a guy about this the other day, and I'll get out of here. I would like to have a 10-minute phone call with my father or my mother. They're both gone. And say, you know, thank you for all you did for me. Thank you for the love you gave us. You were tough on us, but you did it because you loved us. and you raised us pretty good. We all turned out pretty good, all 4 boys. I would love to do that. I don't know if you have someone you'd love to do that too. I would love to call my father and my mother for a 10-minute phone conversation and say, thank you, what you did for us. But I can't because they're in glory watching us. So anyway, thanks for watching. Back tomorrow. Show number 2218 tomorrow. Till then, as always, bloom where you plant, as we said, and win or lose, be a good sport. And thanks for watching the Tom Taylor Sports Show live today at Chick-fil-A.